All right, students, we're excited to have our Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Nicole Bromfield, here with us today. So Dr. Bromfield, could you tell us a little bit about your educational background?
Okay, I'll start from the very beginning with my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
It's from West Virginia University. I lived in West Virginia for a large part of my childhood and went to school at the big state university. And my bachelor's is in anthropology, and I completely fell in love with anthropology. My master's is in social work, and then I have a PhD in public policy with a focus on health policy. My dissertation was on the making of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, which is a piece of federal legislation that addresses human trafficking victims or the needs of human trafficking victims at the federal level. And what I did for my dissertation was I actually drove to DC and I interviewed about 22 policymakers who were involved in the making of the legislation, key congressional staffers, an ambassador, some other people, and then I also did a content analysis of congressional testimonies related to the TVPA or human trafficking.
Wow.
From like the year 1999 or 1990 to 2000.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
so you have a lot of experience in policy.
Lots of experience in policy, yes.
All right. So a lot of social workers talk about finding social work more as a calling to the profession. Did you experience a calling?
Yes and no.
Okay.
And so as I mentioned, I fell in love with anthropology, but anthropology is one of those fields where if you have a bachelor's degree in anthropology, you might be able to work at a grocery store or something, or be a waitress. So it's not a very useful degree like social work is. But I applied to PhD programs out of my bachelor's degree program in anthropology. And I applied to top programs in the country. I was denied admission to 2 of them, and then I got waitlisted for the 3rd. And I was absolutely devastated. I mean, I'll never forget going out with my boyfriend at the time and just like drowning in tears and crying.
You didn't get what you wanted.
I didn't get what I wanted. And so we were having a family reunion like the next day, and I was so sad and so upset, but I drove to the family reunion, and my aunt, who was a social worker, was there, and she was like, why don't you do a master's in social work? Because you can do, like with my degree in anthropology, I wanted to work in social development, I wanted to work with local capacity building, I wanted to work with people, but I didn't understand that you could do that with a social work degree, and that actually anthropology isn't the appropriate degree to do that with. So I wanted to work internationally. And so my aunt convinced me that day during this family reunion that I should get a master's in social work. So I drove back to Morgantown and applied for late admission to the MSW program that was starting in the fall. And I was admitted. And so what's funny about that is I was so devastated when I didn't get into the PhD program in anthropology. And now I'm so thankful that I did a master's in social work. And actually I was able to work internationally, and I was able to work in social development. And I looked at, my dissertation is international and all my research is international. And I really have been able to take what I've learned in my, with my bachelor's in anthropology and then just run with it and apply it to my MSW and my PhD. And so it definitely was a blessing in disguise.
Social work's opened a lot of doors for you,
yes,
and you've been able to use your bachelor's degree in a different way than you anticipated.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your role here at the college. And I know that you teach some courses here, and you teach some online courses. Other than teaching, would there be a time where students may encounter you or need to find you, or?
Hopefully not.
Okay.
And I don't mean that because I don't want to be around students, but as the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, usually I would only interface with the student if there's like a really severe issue that is going on. So a student would work with academic advisor, and then the Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, they might work with you as the online MSW program director, online and hybrid MSW program director, they might work with the field director. So generally, I would only meet with a student should a problem escalate to a high level. And I actually have a meeting with a student this afternoon.
Okay, so it does happen.
It does
hopefully
happen.
not with any of our online students.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that.
Right.
It happens very occasionally. This
Yeah.
will be the first meeting this semester.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it. I wonder if you have any advice for online students or any.
My advice for the online students would be to definitely pace yourself, and time. I think that time management is probably one of the biggest issues in an online program, because you have the ability to put things off and procrastinate more so than, if you have to show up for classes.
Right.
So I would advise definitely utilizing your calendar. But maybe you like a paper calendar or your Outlook calendar, but I would go through all of my syllabi and put the assignments in the calendar and look at it every day just to stay
on top of things.
Yeah.
Good. Great advice. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thank
you.
you.
All right.